Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining. This is Insane 2.0. All right, your girl is back. I have a new studio, new setup. I hope you guys like it. I did everything myself. I am learning. I just want to try to be better, do better, and give you guys still the best information that I possibly can for you guys to go out and do your research. Check out some of the stories that like I put up and just kind of lock in with me. So this first one is politics as usual. Okay. Shout out to Jay-Z for that. But I wanted to follow Ron DeSantis because he is running for president, and you guys need to remember that. Okay. Just keep that in your mind that this man, this governor in Florida, is running for president of the United States, and he is trying to set back Black history education in Florida.
When this show first started a year ago, Ron DeSantis was in the middle of a successful re-election campaign for governor, but he was just beginning his war on woke. And as he extended his reach into public classrooms across Florida, transforming them into anti-woke battlegrounds, we followed, reporting on the effect of his new policies. When Governor DeSantis began policing language in Florida schools, we talked with teachers attempting to plan lessons where they couldn't teach about racism if any group of students felt discomfort. When DeSantis initiated a hostile takeover of New College, a small public liberal arts school in the state, we went there and we spoke to students and parents about the new trustees and their mission to transform the school into a model of conservatism. A year later, Governor DeSantis is attempting to rescue his struggling presidential campaign by spotlighting his latest crusade against Black history. First, Florida rejected the curriculum for AP African American Studies. Then, the Board of Education approved new standards for teaching Black history, including mandating lessons on the personal benefit of slavery and requiring that lessons on certain race massacres include acts of violence perpetrated against and by African Americans. So once again, we went back to Florida, traveling to the small town of Ocoee, 12 miles west of Orlando, where the town's own history of anti-Black violence and its residents' ability to learn about it, where that is all under threat.
The Ocoee massacre was basically like a whole bunch of Black people were killed because they wanted to vote, and the white people decided to run them out of Ocoee and kill them and burn their homes and stuff. And it was just a really horrible night. And I know like a lot of students, they don't know about that, even though we're literally in Ocoee.
I learned about the Ocoee massacre through Kennedy. Exactly. She was like, we were outside talking, and she's like, oh yeah, did you know that there's a scholarship for Ocoee? And I'm like, what scholarship? And she was like, oh, the Ocoee massacre. And I'm like, the Ocoee massacre?
Right.
And she was like, yeah, they killed all the Black people. And I'm like, they what? I did my little research on it, and I'm just like this is serious. Like, and it's crazy how like racism goes so far.
It happens everywhere. It happened everywhere.
Like it's in our face.
Exactly, and we still don't know about it, which is crazy.
I wasn't taught it in school. I think it may have been mentioned in AP US History my junior year, but even if it's at a slower pace, it still needs to be taught throughout the years of school because it's important. It is our history, especially as us living in Florida.
In November 1920, the small town of Ocoee was the site of the worst Election Day violence in American history. Weeks before the election, Ku Klux Klan members held rallies and sent threatening letters to white Ocoee leaders who registered Black residents to vote. The Klan promised, "We shall always enjoy white supremacy in this country, and he who interferes must face the consequences."
This is Ocoee, and this is the hallowed ground cemetery, which contains the bodies of at least 300 people, black people, who died during the Ocoee massacre. Most of them burned to death beyond recognition, so they were put in mass graves in this spot and until recently forgotten about.
The massacre was sparked by two African-American men who went to the polls to vote. It was about voting rights.
There was good reason for white men to be afraid about blacks voting, because it would change the balance of power in the South.
And so Mose Norman and July Perry were refused the right to vote.
A mob comes to July Perry's home, surround his home, trying to find out what was going on and to bring him out to punish him for attempting to vote. And they killed two of their numbers through friendly fire, and it gets blamed on July Perry. There were headlines all over the country. 2 white men killed in Ocoee, blacks rioting in Ocoee.
It remains unclear to this day who killed those 2 white men, but those headlines about the death of whites at July Perry's home, diminishing the racial terror in that black community, those headlines would have repercussions both then and now.
He was arrested and brought into Orlando, where the Orange County Jail is. The mob followed him and took him out of the jail and hung him and left his body hanging for days as intimidation, so that other African Americans who would contemplate voting in Orange County would see what would happen.
And a lot of what the Klan was trying to do, the KKK was trying to do, was to suppress the vote by using violence. And normally it worked. It worked pretty well here.
The black death toll from that day is now incalculable. The remaining black population in Ocoee plummeted after the massacre, and the events of November 1920 were largely forgotten, until now.
Since I've been governor, we've added to what type of African-American history has been taught. For example, we have mandatory instruction on the Election Day riots, the Ocoee Election Day riots in 1920.
The new curriculum in Florida schools, championed by Governor Ron DeSantis, mandates that students learn about what happened in Ocoee, but only if that instruction includes acts of violence perpetrated against and by African Americans. It's an apparent reference to the 2 white men killed at Perry's home, and it obscures the fact that the massacre targeted black citizens.
There have been comments about the depth and breadth of these standards. Anyone who can read these standards, you can see the topics that are covered are in depth, and there's nothing that is left out.
The state of Florida and DeSantis today is officially blaming anti-white violence on blacks in Ocoee, and it did not happen. It's a lie. The 2 white men who died here died at the hands of other white people. So we're here to try to correct that lie.
If you take a massacre where a whole town was destroyed, houses were set afire, schools were set afire, Masonic lodges, churches, people who ran out of their homes were shot and killed. And those who didn't run out of their homes burned in the building. And if you can take something like that and have it focused on violence perpetrated by and against African Americans, you miss the whole point. Good morning.
Geraldine Thompson worked in the Florida education system for more than 24 years before she became a state senator representing Ocoee.
I'd like to welcome you and thank you for your participation in this Speak Out town hall meeting.
Thompson is now involving the entire community to correct the state's history standards.
I want boxes of petitions that we're going to send the Commissioner of Education, saying that we want factual, balanced history taught in our classrooms.
I love the students. Every day I come to school, I come to work, I'm excited to talk to the kids. I'm excited to tell them what they need to know so that they can grow and make this country better. But they want me to lie to kids. They want us to ignore African history prior to the slave trade. They want us to try to hide Florida's ugly legislative history. And I'm sorry, I'm getting upset. I will not, in my classroom, both sides lynchings. It's not gonna happen.
While teachers in Ocoee and across Florida are struggling to teach students under these new standards, Professor Marvin Dunn is showing educators Ocoee's history firsthand.
I am here because I wanted to bring Dade County teachers, active teachers, to these places in Florida where the state requires them to tell lies to students, like there was anti-white violence in Ocoee. So we're trying to correct the record, not have our teachers feel that they have to teach a lie because the state requires it. Could someone tell me what's wrong with this marker? The problem with this marker is that it doesn't tell the truth of what happened here. It doesn't tell the truth of who's out there. This is hallowed ground. Calling itself a cemetery, this is not a cemetery. This is a mass grave. This is a mass grave. We'll take questions, comments, reactions, anything from anybody.
Yeah, I'm a teacher at Miami Palmetto, Miami, Florida, at Miami-Dade County Public Schools, and I'm telling all teachers, as you know, I wasn't hired to teach lies, and I will never teach lies. I am not a teacher who will teach lies, period.
As for the students now back in school in Ocoee, they are determined to learn the truth about what happened in their own backyard, regardless of what the state of Florida says.
Even if our history is not being taught in schools, I feel like it's our obligation to read about our history on our own.
We have to do what our teachers are unable to do, our public school teachers who are being prohibited from teaching us what is real by law. Their jobs are at stake. They are risking their livelihood.
Right.
Exactly.
Right, you can't pick and choose which ones you want and paint it, oh, history was, oh, beautiful, we helped the slaves, we did this, we're such glamorous people. No, you killed people, you massacred people, you took people from their homes, and that's the hard truth. Like, it hurts, like, it hurts, it really does, because, again, people still have wounds. Like, the Ocoee massacre, you have the great-grandchildren surviving, recalling the times of, like, it's trauma, but we have to heal as a nation, but we can't heal as a nation if there's...
we don't know. Right. And if you don't acknowledge the past, history is gonna keep on repeating itself, so we have to stop now.
So this story is about a small city named, I think it's called Ocoee or something like that, in California. And in the 1920s, a man named July Perry was an activist, and he was trying to push the power to vote. And that was during the time when the KKK was very big on Black people not voting, even though our ancestors had a right to vote. They, of course, still was following the Jim Crow laws, and they tried to make sure that no Black person would be allowed to vote. And they also made sure that any of the Caucasian people, white people who were friendly toward Blacks, they made sure that they also had the fear put in them to not assist with that in any kind of way and to not be friendly with our ancestors. So it was said that 2 white men got murdered in Ocoee. I think it's called Ocoee. and that there were July Perry and I think someone else. I think they were trying to say were the ones that unalive these people, but that was not true. So it was fake news, and they still ran with it to try to manipulate, people into thinking that our ancestors were murderers, and that wasn't the case. And so, there's an activist now that is coming forth and trying to get all the teachers together pretty much to unite. And a lot of the teachers in Florida, in this city, is fighting for justice because they said, listen, this is not what we went to school for. We didn't go to school to teach fake information or to not give truth. So what I do like is that it's a diverse, it's a diverse group of teachers. It's not just all Black or anything like that. It's a very diverse group of teachers that all feel the same. So it's a beautiful thing when we actually have people that unite with us, and that actually is, like really fighting with us and giving it their all as well, side by side. That just shows to me, it shows something beautiful. Like it shows that they really want these children out here to know and to learn the best that they can, and not and still be given the same equal information and education as other kids. And so this story, I really feel like you guys do more research on it. I think that this was a informative story that actually leads to you really checking out who's all running for the presidential election, especially right wing, but all of them. This is the time when, if you have never researched presidents, or potential presidents, I should say, then this should be the season that you do, honestly, because something has got to change. We really need to start being more serious and more intentional when we're out here voting, and when we are like making decisions in our lives, because those decisions that we're making affects our entire culture, and we're seeing it now. So yeah, to me, I feel like when you like this story right here, and just knowing what happened, and they pretty much was standing at a mass grave. Once again, there's another city or a little small town that was burned to the crisp. And one of the things that because I forgot to get his name, the man who is a present activist at this time, one of the things that he said that, one of the biggest things was that they did not want to shift imbalance in power. So it was very important for them to try their hardest to make sure that our ancestors could not vote once they were able to receive that freedom to vote. And we see this happening now. Nothing's changed. It's still the same. So I'm not going to go too deep into it. We got some other clips to look at, but that segment was called Politics as Usual. And I want you guys to really, process that and take a look at, that clip and go and do more research, not just on that particular city or small town, but on what's actually happening today, because this is not just in Florida. This is happening on a major scale. If you did not know, they are really trying to reverse Black history in all of the schools in America, in the way that we look at our history, in the way that they want people to look at our history. And that is one of the biggest things. The person that has the most power controls the narrative. And I have been constantly saying that forever, and it is true, and it is showing you right now. Okay? All right. So thank you so much. And let's get to the next clip, which is a Protect Black Woman clip.
This is the story of Alicia
show
Lofton,
you.
a beautiful mother of three who was gunned down by her newly wedded husband, Marcus Lofton. Few months into their marriage, Alicia served him divorce papers after she found evidence that he was having affairs with other men. A day after he got the divorce papers, he lost his cool and could no longer hold it together anymore. He got so upset with her for trying to break up with him, then tracked her down, took her gun from her, then shot her with it. Hello and welcome to Twisted Crimes. Subscribe and hit the like button for more stories. This story will be taking us to Grand Rapids, Michigan. Grand Rapids is a city located on the Grand River about 40 miles east of Lake Michigan. Grand Rapids is the second largest city in Michigan. It is often referred to as Furniture City. It's a vibrant and thriving city located in the western part of the state. Known for its strong economy, rich history, and diverse culture, Grand Rapids has established itself as a sought-after destination for both residents and visitors alike. Alicia Danielle Lofton was a beautiful mother of three. She loved her kids to the fullest. She was said to be a high-spirited woman who always loved and cared for everyone around her. She made people laugh, and she was just a great person overall to be around, according to her family members. Her son just graduated from high school. He was on his way to Grand Valley, while her oldest daughter is in her last year of college. Her last daughter is in high school getting ready to graduate too. They loved her so much, and she loved them too. Alicia was someone who believed in love. She wanted to be married and wanted to be a great wife. Alicia had been in a relationship with a young man named Marcus Lofton.
Shit, man, attitude. Shit.
They shared really nice moments together and were seen almost as a power couple. They got married sometimes in February of 2023. Families and friends attended their wedding, and it was a joyous day for her. They enjoyed every single moment and loved every bit of it. The union of Mr. and Mrs. Lofton was expected to be very great and nice, but that was not what happened, unfortunately. Even though they shared some nice moments during their marriage like this video's about to be shown, it ended up becoming a tragedy.
you my mama made?
What's your mama make?
Me.
Girl, you better stop being nasty.
Not too long into the marriage, trouble started emerging. Marcus was posting weird things on Facebook. In one of his posts, he said, "If you ever get locked up, you might as well cancel your relationship and sleep peacefully, my dog. These people is embarrassing." He would go ahead to post some other crazy things to Facebook. After a while, Alicia got a hint that his new husband is having an affair with a guy.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign.
She went ahead to confront him, which he denied, but she showed him all the receipts she has, then proceeded in filing for divorce. She stated some of her concerns too on her Facebook post before her page was deactivated. She also went live talking about it, according to some people who follow her. Alicia served Marcus divorce papers on August 16 of 2023, and also told him she was selling the house. On August 17th, Marcus went to the house to have a chat with Alicia, even though he had been arrested in May for domestic violence against his wife, who he wasn't supposed to be in contact with in any capacity, but he did anyways. Upon arriving at the house a day after he was served divorce papers, they started arguing about one or two things, and one thing led to the other. He grabbed Alicia's gun, a Glock, from a drawer and tried to strike her with it, as he usually does during the marriage, but the gun went off, striking Alicia, according to his account. This is the same gun seen in the video of them dancing together earlier. She had it on her waist all throughout the video. Alicia was able to run into a room where she locked herself, but Marcus didn't give up. He broke the door, then found Alicia trying to climb down a window to escape. He didn't bother to save her, but decided to do what he thought was right, which was shooting her more and more. He shot her multiple times before he thought it was enough, then her jumped into his car and fled. The cops were called to the scene, but it was too late. Alicia was pronounced dead at the scene of the crime. Marcus was later apprehended by the police. He would also confess to the crimes and told them how he shot her numerous times. There was another shooting nearby, but the police quickly ruled out any connection in both cases.
On Grand Rapids South Side, the incidents taking place this morning within hours of one another. News 8's Demetrius Sanders spoke with the sister of one of the victims. He shares their message.
The most recent of the two shootings happened at a home on Union Avenue Southeast at around 8 this morning, claiming the life of a woman. Tonight, that woman's sister says she's shocked about the situation. A morning of violence in Grand Rapids. At around 1:40 a.m., officers say a man was shot on Burton Street Southwest between Division and Buchanan. He later died at the hospital. Just more than 6 hours later, a woman was killed after shots were fired on Union Avenue Southeast near Oakdale. Police say they don't believe the two incidents are connected, and the second shooting was likely a domestic incident.
Her best friend called me and was literally hysterical, and I'm jumped up, what's going on, what's wrong, and she said my sister is gone, and I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, like, I just talked to my sister a couple days ago. What are you talking about? I get here, she's already gone.
Cassie White says it was her older sister that died during the shooting on Union Avenue.
I'm just so lost for words. I can't cry. I'm cried out. This hits home.
She declined to identify her sister, but says she was a mother of 3 with a heart of gold.
My sister was fun. She was goofy. She liked to go out, have a good time, very well dressed. She loved her kids, make sure her kids was intact and ordered before she did anything.
White says her sister was in a relationship, and she's surprised domestic violence may have been involved in her death.
It was very shocking because I could never, see that type of thing being, something my sister would, be dealing with.
While talking with News 8, White says she's keeping in mind the many people impacted by that type of violence.
It's becoming too common nowadays in Grand Rapids, let alone Michigan. It's not fair. It's not fair.
She says her sister was known by many, and this is a big loss.
I love my sister, and I'm definitely gonna miss her.
Marcus Durrell Lofton was arraigned Friday, August 18th on charges of open murder and felony firearm. He is held in jail without bond. This is a very sad case for everyone involved, especially her kids who would never get to see their mother ever again.
Family is sharing their grief tonight after a Grand Rapids mother was shot and killed last week.
According to court records, the suspect is in custody. It's the man she was trying to divorce. Our Julie Dunmeyer joins us with more. Julie.
Yeah, Josh and Max, family tells me it's hard for them to even hear Alicia Lofton's full name because she shares the same last name with the man who allegedly shot and killed her. Loved ones saying their main focus right now is on the 3 children she leaves behind.
Loving, outgoing, high-spirited, give you the claws off her back, loved her kids, loved life.
This is Alicia Lofton, pictured here with her 3 children.
My oldest niece is graduating college next year, and her mom's not going to be there. She's going to be looking in the crowd to see her mom. It's going to suck that my nephew isn't going to Grand Valley for his first year, and he's looking for his mom to be there. It's going to suck for my youngest niece in high school who's not going to have her mom to pick out her prom dress.
And Alicia's loss will be felt long after she's gone, says Faustino Garcia, the family spokesperson.
Terrible, very terrible. Growing up, Alicia was like a sister to me.
A sister, now gone. Court records say on August 17th, Alicia was killed by multiple gunshot wounds to her head and body. Alicia's husband, Marcus Lofton, now in jail, charged with open murder for her death.
These kids have lost their mother, they lost their matriarch, they lost somebody that cared for them, and that's where I want the light shed on more, as not being shed on that guy.
Court records give Fox 17 a better idea about the final moments of Alicia's life. Marcus allegedly told officers he'd been served divorce papers, and an argument followed. During the argument, Marcus told officers he tried to hit Alicia with her own Glock, but the gun went off. Next, Alicia reportedly locks herself in a bedroom. Marcus told officers he broke down the door, found Alicia crawling out of the bedroom window before he opened fire.
Definitely a tragic loss because of the tragic story behind it as well.
According to court records, Marcus and Alicia are said to have had a history of domestic violence during their time as a married couple. The two were married in February, but just a few months later in May, Marcus was arrested for domestic violence, accused of harming Alicia. Court records say he wasn't supposed to have contact with Alicia, a condition of his bond from the May arrest. Family saying the hardest hit by all of this are Alicia's 3 children.
To find out that your mother was tragically murdered. My oldest niece is 22. My nephew is 19, and then her youngest daughter is 14. So they're handling it as best as they can.
Family hoping this tragedy shines a light on domestic violence and the loved ones left behind.
We shed some light on, domestic violence. I know it's tough for a lot of women to speak out, but just speak out on it.
Family members decided to set up a GoFundMe account to help the kids with their school activities. A very sad and tragic case which could have been avoided. If it was true that he was with other men, he could have left her to be with other men, or even it isn't, he could have just taken then divorce and moved on with his life instead of acting cowardly. We hope Alicia Lofton gets the justice she deserves. This is another sad case bringing to light the issue of domestic violence and what we should be looking out for. Our sincere condolences to the friends and families of Alicia Lofton. May Alicia's memory be a blessing for her family and for all who knew her, and may her life and death be an inspiration and a turning point towards justice and increased protection for domestic abuse survivors.
Man, first I want to send my condolences to Alicia Lofton and her children and her family. This is such a sad case. It's just watching this video really hurts because of the fact that it is just too many women being unalived by the hands of their own man, husband, brother, boyfriend. It's great. Children. like their sons. Like these stories is getting out of control. And something needs to happen. I don't know what is going on. Whew. But we have to start taking mental health seriously and stop repressing things. One of the biggest things out of this story, besides him being on the DL and her finding out, one of the biggest things is that the way that he handled the situation with her instead of walking away speaks volumes, because a man cares so much more about his reputation and the way that he is perceived by other men and people, that he is willing to sacrifice his freedom or even his life to try to hold on to a secret. Now that's crazy to me. It's so much easier these days to be a part of the LGBTQIA like culture than it has ever been. Just come out already. What was also hurtful is because of the fact that, and I know that she was upset, but for educational purposes for you ladies, when you find something out like that, just go. Do not argue. Do not say, I'm going to tell everybody, especially if you know that this person has a certain reputation. Just go. Just go and make sure there's a third party present in the process of everything that you need to do with this person. But go. Because that person is on the DL for a reason. They don't want to be exposed. So if you threaten to expose them because you're upset and you just want to hurt somebody's feelings, no. Go. And there's a lot of stories. I was kind of reading some of the comments on this video, and I want you guys to do the same. And there's a lot of women that this has happened to. So there's a lot of men that's out there that's living this lifestyle without even letting the woman choose as to if she would like to be a beard or share or whatever it may be. The woman has no option. She has no choice. She don't know. All of those things that he said in the video, in his on social media, I'm a narcissist, this, that, and the other, all of those are signs. All of those are signs. And I don't know if I have a radar, but there are so many different things he did to show me that he was a DL man. And it's not him being well groomed or looking high value or anything like that. There were little things, even the tongue thing. No, even the tongue thing, but we gonna leave that alone. Another thing is, people are so fascinated and inspired by couples that they see on social media and TikTok that be doing these little challenges, that be looking like they having fun all the time. You don't know what's going on in people's lives and homes. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to see, some type of inspiration, but don't call people couple goals, all these different things. And honestly, I'm not feeling men who constantly need to seek validation from people on social media all the time. To me, that is not masculine. If you're not getting paid to be on social, or if you don't have some type of business or promotions or something going on, and and it's fine to be on their own personal levels, but in moderation. If you on there just like living your best life, that just shows you don't have like a lot going on, or you are just, like he said, narcissistic and seeking validation from others because you're insecure. Okay. So yeah, he was all of that. He was living for other people and what other people thought of him. And that is the sad case. And I'm so sorry. She seemed like, she had 3 beautiful children, sending her children off to college and all of that. Beautiful young lady. You could tell she was a G though. She had a little gangster in her. She had the pistol on her hip. I was like, okay, is she living the street life? Like, what's really going on? She got it on the side. But at the end of the day, I'm very sorry about what happened to her. And that was a part of the Protect Black Women segment. So once again, my condolences to Alicia Lofton. That literally just happened August 17th. So it's one of the newest ones. And do some research on it. There's a couple of different people that got information regarding this situation. So just check it out. And, we have to do better in our relationships with men and relationships with women, and communication and respect and all of that is so important, more important than it has ever been, So thank you so much for, diving in with me. So the next one is called You Caring Too Much. And this segment is going to be more for situations that happen with us, like Karens and Kens and people who just don't want to see us win. They always got to block us some kind of way, whether it's a kid trying to sell lemonade or water, they got to call the police, or just like different petty things that we're still just not over yet. And you would think that if this is 2023, I feel like we in 1903 the way that these people act sometimes. So I want you to check out this clip from the You Caring Too Much segment, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And like and subscribe, please.
You're still best bet to just walk away. I'm confused. You had no business telling her to shut up.
Oh, you did nothing. Come on. I'm waiting on you. Because what you're not about to do is try to get me arrested. So come on, you gotta swing. So that way I'll be justified when I whoop your ass.
Like, literally, just walk away. Just walk away. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what the?
That was straight self-defense. And the woman literally laid out the blueprint that can get you from point A to point ass whooping. She says, now I'm not going to go to jail. So that means you have to actually come and swing at me first. That's the blueprint. Now, after you swing on me, then I'm going to whoop your ass. So she provided the blueprint. Said, now, if you want to get to point B, you have to go this route. He decided, he made a conscious decision to go the route required to protect the woman who engaged in self-defense. According to the poster, this was started by him. we have another, let's just say, version of it. Let's go ahead and show it.
Like, literally, just walk away. Just walk away. Like, are you kidding me?
I mean, I knew what was going to happen when she had a stance that was similar to Muhammad Ali in his prime. Sir, I could have told you that was not going to work out for you. Let's put up the picture full mask. According to the narrative, he was rude and disrespectful, told her to shut up, and the rest you see. Now, it was during that moment after he swung first, the woman had to engage in self-defense. It's unfortunate that this transpired on the potato chip aisle, but it is what it is. I don't know what aisle they want. Sharon, I mean, he had ample opportunity to not engage in the blueprint.
She told him what it was.
Yeah.
To let him know, Doc. And you mentioned Muhammad Ali, the greatest. I thought it was Layla, the way she knocked him out, Debo style. I'd have walked right over there. Thank you for the show, Layla. And I go on and get my chips. That was incredible. She told him what it was.
She said it. She said, listen, you swing at me first, I'm gonna have to do something. All right? All right.
Layla.
Yeah.
Okay, let me stop laughing. All right. You know what? This was a short clip. And trust me, that fight was even shorter. But it was necessary. So evidently he started the fight. And Clarissa came out of her. She had that Clarissa Shield stance on him. Pow! Straight knockout. That was funny. But I do not condone violence, but that was funny. And that's what he get for his entitlement and for him trying to make her shut up. She's a grown woman. She can say and do whatever she wants. If she not disrespecting him, he shouldn't have had nothing to say. This is what the problem is. These people walking around here and they feel like like the title says, you caring too much. You understand? You caring about other people's situations that don't have nothing to do with you too much. And she just pretty much had to let him know, stop caring about what's in what I got going on, you know? And we can even take it to another level. One is, we keep hearing about masculine women, feminine women, but this goes to show you the disrespect that Black women have to face all the time by everybody. And they continuously try to keep us at the low totem pole of the food chain. And one is, brothers, y'all have to start stepping y'all game up. It does not matter if she is not soft, if she doesn't look soft, or whatever it may be. That is your sister. You know what I'm saying? We have to start like respecting one another, men respecting women, women respecting men in our culture. That's the only way other people are not going to be able to come in and infiltrate, or to come in and be like, oh, you know, her own people don't care about her. You know, these men they not out here protecting, you know, they sisters or protecting the women like, you know, they should, because they out here doing the same thing to them. This is how they feel. They feel like we have no support. They feel like we have no protection, and they come at us on a constant basis. You understand what I'm saying? And that has got to change. So yes, I got all this from that video because that's what it is. This is what's happening. It's bigger than this video. Okay. But this was a good one though. Like she definitely listen. Brothers, I don't know if y'all even want. Oops, I don't even know if y'all want that smoke. Okay, but I appreciate y'all rocking out with me. I totally do. So I'm going to leave y'all with one more, and we'll be having different segments, different things. I'm just trying to see what's going to work for the show. And I will tell you now that the most important segments that will not change is politics as usual. We will continue to keep that because I definitely want people to understand politics more, understand how important it is, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, how important it is to do research on certain governors, mayors, or just, the elected officials in your city and state, town, country, whatever. Okay, so that is going to be definitely going to be an important segment, as well as protect Black women. That's not going anywhere. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's not going anywhere. We are faced with having to see this, look at it, and see what we can do about it, because that is what the number one thing is, and I need to show this because of the fact that it is getting worse and worse, and we need to figure out a system on how we can break this cycle that is continuously happening so that our children will not suffer. And I always go back to the children because they are our future. Okay. And you caring too much, that ain't going nowhere either. Okay. Because it seems like it's getting worse and worse. So those are definitely some segments that we will be keeping. And it's this YouTuber. Like, of course, I'm going to be showing my boy Cash Flow Harlem. I'll show a couple of his vids because he be on it. And Nino Brown is so dope. He has a very large following base. He is street oriented, but he really be speaking truth. And I'm going to be showing some of his clips as well. I'm going to call him Nino Damas, like Nostradamus, because he be spitting, okay? So before we head out, I do want to show one of his clips that I feel like we need to discuss that's pretty important, all right? So check.
Let me tell you something about these ass rappers. You got rappers like Young Miami telling your 9-year-old, 10-year-old, 11-year-old daughter to be a Look at this shit.
On today's episode of Having a Good So I'm leaving Bell Harbor, you see? Driving on I'm leaving Bell Harbor. I just finished shopping. I'm in a Maybach, white on white, bitch, everything cocaine. That's what a good to get you.
Wait, that ain't it. Then you got rappers like Glorilla, F-R-E-E. Listen to what this dumbass broad said.
Hey, ladies, how on you? Well, I'm gonna call my twin, and I just want to let y'all know, be toxic for the rest of your 20s. You only get one life. Live your toxic 20s. You never get to be 20 years old, 21, 22, 23, 24, none of that ever again in your life. Be toxic, because don't get in your 30s thinking you could just go slashing tires and doing all this crazy shit. You too old for that now, and you too mature. Be toxic for the rest of your 20s. And if you delusional, turn that shit up a notch. Enjoy the rest of your 20s. You only get to do this shit one time.
So one of them telling you to prostitute yourself. Find a man that's gonna pay for it when you got good cool. It's gonna send you to Chanel, Fendi, and all that. So that make your little daughter look up to these girls and think, you know what? I gotta solicit myself to an old man like a Diddy. And then you got the other girl telling them in their 20s they need to be toxic, they need to be dangerous, they need to be delusional, and put a little extra on it. What they creating? They ain't creating wives. See, you gotta understand something. While they telling your daughters that, you know what they doing? They married. Yeah, they home with their baby daddy. Daddy at home. But they telling you to do wrong. They telling your kids to do wrong. They misleading and misguiding. See, just like these rapper dudes, they music send your son to prison. They send your son to the morgue. They send your son to the county jail. Guess where they send their son? The private school. They misleading and misguiding. Then you got rappers like Sexy Red making STD music. Music for the people that get STD, talking about she like Ross. And what kind of message they promoting to the youth? What kind of message they promoting to you as a woman that's married? They're making you feel like you missing out on something. Making you feel like you need to do what they doing. You don't need to do that, man. Let me tell you something, man. Y'all got to watch who y'all kids listening to. You got to watch who your kids looking up to, because these girls ain't talking about nothing, man. They telling your kids to be prostitutes. They telling your kids to solicit themselves. They telling your kids to be toxic, and what that's creating? Jezebels. Hoes, man. Yeah, not wives. They don't want your kid to be married like you is. They don't want your kid to have one man like you did growing up. They want your kid to have multiple men, have multiple STDs, and be toxic and delusional. Just dumb as fuck. Watch who your kids listening to. Cause I'ma tell you something. Look at this father. He just caught his daughter out there prostituting, and he caught her in the act. Check this shit out.
Go find somebody else to come with me. How about that?
I'm your father. You gonna listen to me?
You ain't been my father. Don't come with all that title shit now. That's
I don't want.
It doesn't
You're
make
not
sense.
doing this. I'm
It
not
doesn't
letting you
make
do
sense.
this no more.
People out here.
Seriously?
I have customers with.
I don't want to hear that. You're getting off these streets. See, I'm gonna tell you something. The eyes and the ears is the gateway to the soul. What you listen to, what you watch all day, that's what you become. You gotta be careful, man, because these women, these rappers, and all these people are creating young prostitutes. Guess who benefit off this? Them record labels. And you know who they ran by? The goddamn Klan. They want us misled. They want us to be Jezebels. They want you to be HOEs. They want you to have all these goddamn kids and don't know who the baby daddy is. That's why they promoting this music. But don't let your kids fall for that bullshit. Teach your daughter what a real woman is. Teach your son what a real man is. Don't listen to these rappers, man. Cause I'ma tell you something right now. These rappers are WWF. A lot of them talk tough, but they ain't about the shit they talking. They want to lead you and mislead you down the path of destruction. Cause if you don't catch them now, you're gonna be just like that father that caught his daughter out there prostituting her body. He didn't even know it. And guess what? Every day you ignore what they listen to, they out there doing the nasty dance and all that. Guess what you building? Another one of them. And you don't even know what you building. Cause you gonna walk up and catch some shit one day that you can't stop cause they too far gone. Catch that shit now, man. I'm telling you right now. Y'all make sure y'all send this to somebody that got kids if you ain't got no kids. Y'all make sure y'all like this video. Y'all make sure y'all share this video. Y'all make sure y'all comment below, man, and let me know if you feel how I feel, cause I grew up on some real shit. We the business.
Let me tell you something. This man ain't told no lies. You understand what I'm saying? Nino Damas. Check his videos out. He's called Nino Brown. If you don't know who he is on YouTube, he actually is really informative, and that's his way, kind of like how This Is Insane news channel is. It's more urban friendly. You know, I'm just being who I am. I'm just talking the way I talk. You understand what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. You know that I'm trying to spit knowledge in my own way. That's how he is, you know. And that's one of the reasons why I like him, because it makes you want to actually kind of like, he's planting seeds his way, and it makes you want to go see what is happening with, you know, like whatever it is he's he's speaking on, you want to kind of research it, you want to kind of dig deeper. And in this case, with like those clips that he showed, let's talk about it. One is, because I don't really listen to these women, but the first young lady, I can't remember her name, the one that's with Diddy. Yeah, I totally agree with what he's saying, because a lot of these teenage girls listen to these young women, you know, and they know the audience they have, and they know who they're speaking with. Okay, I'm gonna just put that out there now. And the number one thing is, you got to, like, the whole agenda is trying to get the kids, trying to get them when they're young. You understand? That's why you see so many different situations happening in other, you know, subcultures, with them trying to, you know, like indoctrinate these children at a young age to get them to do whatever they want them to do, because it gives them power and control, you know, to see that they transform them into what they wanted them to be, if that makes sense. Like the young lady saying, look, this is what my, you know, my goodies got me. You know, she riding around good, she went shopping, you know, all of the little material things. She gave a part of her soul for, because that's what she's saying. Look, I just gave my soul for these material things. You can think that you're giving just, you know, like your goods, but every time you lay down with somebody, that's a soul tie. You're giving your soul to somebody. Okay, so continue to, you know, do more research on, like, the people that, you know, that you follow and that you're impressed with, because that's not impressive. The other young lady, the Glorilla lady, just telling them, these young kids, to be toxic when they get 20 years old, or if they're in their 20s, they need to be toxic. That definitely is an issue. And let me tell you why that's a really big issue to me. Because of the fact that your 20s, especially in this time, in this generation, you need to be investing and focused more than ever. We are in a state of crisis when it comes to inflation, when it comes to so many different things, you know, and people be thinking that this social media money and all of that is long-term money, but no, that's short term. I know people that have children that is 15, 16 years old from different cultures, that have accounts, that have trust, that have stocks, bonds, ETF funds. They know what that is. They know what shares mean. These are 16, 17-year-old kids. And ask me, do I know any of them that is Black, African American? No. This is what I'm talking about right here. That was an opportunity for her to pour into these young women, just like for the other, young Miami, just like it was an opportunity for young Miami to pour into these young women and say, you know what, this is what I've done, but guess what? I know what I did might not be a good direction for you young ladies. However, if you wind up going this route, then this is what you need to do with your bag, with your money, not showing them devalue things that pretty much depreciate. You know what I'm saying? And telling them they need to sleep with somebody 50 times their age. That's not right. Then Glorilla, telling them to be toxic in their 20s. Okay, what she's saying is try to live your best life, or try to live a life of no regrets while you're younger. But once you get a certain age, then you need to be focused. That's what she's trying to say, but that's not how this works. That's what the problem is with our community. You got to be developing these young people now. They already halfway grown. So why you gonna tell them to be toxic? No, you need to start pouring into them on finances, on how to survive on their own by the time they're 20, on what stability looks like, on what owning their own business would look like. These are things we need to be pouring into these young people. Whew, child. And then like the man, I don't even know who Sexy Red is, but let me tell you about that. He said that she's promoting sleeping with men without the thing on. I can't even tell you the last time. I didn't even know that was a thing still. Okay, first off, I'ma just be honest. I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay, we still doing that. Okay, now y'all, I'm just showing my true colors. Yes, I'm single. Yes, I'm single. But anyway, with the whole Sexy Red situation, okay. And I'm gonna listen to one of her songs and see what he's talking about. But if that's the case, there's another clip that I'm going to show you guys next week. And I probably will start doing this. We're going to see how this one flies. If you guys like, if I get the views, if you leave in a comment that you like this new way of, how the show is set up. And if you do like it, then what I'm going to do is I am going to I'm going to see if I can have This Is Insane News at least twice a week instead of just once a week. Okay. I think that there's so much information that I want to give you guys that once a week is just not going to be good enough, but we'll see what happens. We'll see if you kind of like this new setup. But as I was saying, because if Sexy Red is promoting this, one of the biggest things about this is that I don't know if you guys know, but it has been in the news about a lot of Black women getting syphilis, especially in Texas. And the HIV rate is really, really high right now in certain cities. So that's one of the things that we will be discussing next week. So, yeah, this is a thing then. I don't understand it. But, yeah, we got to do better. We really do. It's an over-sexualized culture now. We understand that rap has always been about freedom of speech. We have always, it's the way these rappers getting locked up, I don't think so no more. But what I want to say is that it has always been a dominant force because of the fact that it's one of the most rebellious culture. And so because of that, we have spiraled out of control because I am a part of the hip hop culture. Okay. We spiraled out of control. All right. And we have to get these young people, these children, we got to get them on the right track before we lose them. Okay? All right. So thank you so much. I totally appreciate you guys locking in with me. It's always a pleasure. Make sure you kind of like deep dive and do some research on these clips. And I guess I will see you next week. All right. And you know that we rock out every Thursday. And it's a recorded, it's no longer live. And I'm trying not to show my face. I don't want this to be a podcast where I show my face, unless it's stop cam or something like that. But so if you've seen like my previous ones, you know, then you would know what I look like, and that's probably going to be it. Unless, like I said, it's my stop cam. But just let me know what your thoughts are with the show, and what would you like to see. Do you think this would be a good move, good fit? And that's it. All right, guys, you have a great day. Stay blessed, and I'll see you next week. Love y'all. Bye.